outrageous British accent, silly wavy man, etc., etc. Let's just jump straight to it. This is a video about me and my new least favorite hero, which is Telluria. I'm not saying Telluria is a bad hero, far from it. She's annoyingly good. And of course, I don't have her because she's a hero of the month. Here she is now. Let's have a brief look at her. Now, I can't believe I'm alone in finding her horrendous to fight against. So here she is, 130% damage to all enemies with average speed, which is pretty reasonable in itself. But then you also have a forest familiar appears with 18% hit points and 13% attack, so they stay alive fairly well. All allies regenerate 411 hit points over 3 turns, so that's 3 special skills. And then another one as well. All enemies get a minus 34% mana generation. Oh, and there's a critical hit thrown in there as well. I'm going to be honest. To me, that is overpowered. I find Telluria overpowered and really off-putting to fight. She's got a very high shield as well, and very high health. So health 1461, 850 shield. Let's see if I look at my hang on, Marjana, 1404, 712. So she's got quite high. She's got much higher shield. What was? Yeah, save. What did I say? Her. Yeah, higher health and higher shield than a 5-star. I mean, admittedly, she's got some items on her emblems there as well. So really, 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 really cool. In my personal opinion, possibly too powerful. But there we go. So anyway, we're going to try and raid them. Now, what I was finding was that going against her with 3 red heroes was just not enough. I was losing. It took over 6 tiles to kill her, which meant, I mean, it was 7 or 8 to kill her, which may not sound like very much, but unfortunately, if you get to the point that she goes off, it becomes really, really, really hard to win the raid after that. Really, there may be players out there who can tell you how to do it. It may well involve other heroes of the month, I would guess. But so anyway, we will find out. So I'm going to do this this move here, which is a 4 in a row red, which will trigger. You can see each tile there did a good chunk of damage. I'm going to slide this one up. There we are. So this raid, she is dead right at the beginning. Downside is, of course, is that I now have. I'm very, very reliant on red tiles, and a lot of them have already been used up. So I will now be targeting Vila, who's another hero who is, in my opinion, mildly overpowered. Not as badly as Mariana, but still pretty annoyingly overpowered, in my personal opinion. So this one's gone fairly well. I've managed to knock her out first time, and there's a reasonable chance that I am going to be able to take this one all the way to the end. Perfect riposte here coming in very handy. You can see the damage that by what do you call it? Quadruple stacking my reds I've managed to do. I take Mother North as she is the most useful hero to keep everybody else alive if everything else goes horrendously wrong, which it often does when you are so heavily reliant on one particular colour. But in this occasion, I have quite safely carried it off. So there we are. So that is when it goes well. We'll see if we can find another Telluria team. I'm sure that I can. There are plenty of them out there, and we'll see if I can do it the other way around. Seems a bit pointless reviving now, really, but there we go. So Bold Tusk comes back to life. I do often think as well there should be a bit of a limit on how many times a hero can revive. It does get a bit crazy when you kill them 4 or 5 times, especially when they're the only hero left, which luckily didn't happen there. It just seems a bit pointless. So I'm just looking for another Telluria team. Hopefully come across one soon. Here we are, Telluria again, another 50 point. Dark Knight's 5th. So there we are, Telluria. This one obviously even more emblemed up than last time. Yep, again, what's that? Two season 2 heroes, a hero of the month. There we go. So anyway, we'll see how we get on. As I say, it's really, this is sticking to the 4 and 1 approach. I'm going to go this, hopefully triggering. No. Let's go for this. You can see the damage that I managed to do with 4 heroes does actually, yeah, it is kind of forgiving. I am now going to struggle here because I need more red tiles basically. Most of the rest of the tiles are not going to do anything. Admittedly, the green tiles will do a little bit, and getting Mother North ready could be. Uh, Not going to use Mother North quite yet, which is risk, but um, big risk if she now dies. That could have been nasty, but no, got away with that. There we are. The minions, they kick in the minions. They don't do very much, but it'll just support people. I was going to say, hopefully there, because of the one tile being ghosted, it just means a bit more power. So knocking Telluria out in the middle definitely helped, and then sort of set me up reasonably well moving forwards, because now I have a nice big gap to generate some mana into. Admittedly, I do need things to keep going my way. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. The last few times I've tried this, it really didn't. This time is quite a lot better. Ooh, revive works in my favour. That doesn't happen very often. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Works in my favour twice. And there was me saying about about there should be a limit on how often people can revive. Although I do stand by that, actually, in fairness. Even though it has actually worked out in my favour here. So again, I mean, you can see that it's quite slow for me at the moment. I'm just so reliant on one colour. I don't really like doing, well, it's not quite monochrome, but I don't like doing monochrome teams. I do think the game should have, it shouldn't be quite so board dependent as it tends to be if you are going for a single colour, in my opinion. I prefer the thinking cerebral aspect to the game where you get you can obviously color stack and it does work, but you don't then end up so reliant on that color that you don't get an immediately good start and then a good board after that you're well a bit stuffed really. Bum, bum, bum. Yep, there we go. That's good. So this one should be a win now. A little bit slow to get there, but we are there now. Oh, that wasn't the move I went to make. I keep doing this. I don't know how I've managed to put so much weight on my thumbs over this lockdown business. They seem to have gained several pounds, so that they're now like big sausages that cannot move the tiles around properly. Gert big is incidentally Gert is a West Country thing, which just means very. Let's see. Moving on. I need another Telluria because that's who we're actually looking at. It's weird. Normally, I spend my time avoiding Telluria, but here we are. I'm looking for her now. Think. I'm gonna do this because it'll trigger a small combo at least, and I was hoping it might set up another move. Telluria again. I think I will kill her here before she goes off, which is good. So Telluria's gone. That's nice. This will trigger. This should get Mariana and a Bold Tusk ready because there'll be one ghosted tile. There we go. Aslar obviously a little bit dangerous in this one. Yeah. Don't know if I can stop Aslar going off here at the moment. I'm going to try this and just hope for a little bit of luck. Aslar going off is never a good thing in my experience on raids. At least, yeah, that's as long as Elena is standing. Oh, Elena might even miss him off. Fairly, he got fairly frazzled by by Mariana there, which is quite good. So yes, that's quite a nice. It's gone very well actually. These three. So it goes to show you that Telluria is a hero you can beat. I was assuming by now that I would have had one where I didn't manage to beat her, which is kind of interesting in itself to see. I don't necessarily want to lose just for the sake of it, but I will if the next raid or two don't show you quite how dangerous she is when she goes off. No. Oh, dearie me. Come on, Telluria. Normally you can't avoid her, and now can't find her. Anyway, you see she does come up very often as a tank. Anyway, so let's see how this one goes. 2 blues, Vila again. Vila's another one I'm not a very big fan of. No, I think this one might actually be one that I will be unable to kill her first, but we shall see. So again, I'm looking for red moves. Don't know if this will quite kill her. It shows resilient she is. Oh, no, I did kill her. Stand corrected. Even with the triple coloured stacked. I'm going to drop this in here. Again, I'll just use... this is more or less exactly what happened last raid, isn't it? Knocked out Vila, then got a 3 in a row, which got Mariana ready, which hit Aslar, which is deja vu, this one. Then I'll get Elena ready, and this time though Aslar's going to go off, so there it is slightly different. Vila will go off. It would have been so nice to have had Elena ready before these two go off, but oh well. You can see again, this is what I was sort of saying about you'd become very, very dependent on one colour, which I don't like to do personally. It's a bit too dependent on red, and as you can see, the board has gone quite slow. Well, relatively slow on the reds until that moves there, and it's kind of very difficult, particularly with a hero like Vila, who is obviously then strongest against the reds. So you can see there that this is the sort of downside with if I'm colour stacking against Telluria and they've sensibly taken a few blues, it can become really, really tricky. A bit confused there. I'm just like, what? Mother North, boom. Oh, she brought one back to life. That's always handy. I don't think there is realistically any way back on this, but maybe, who knows? Again, see, this is where I'm so reliant on one colour that the screen is just going to make it very, very tough. Because I basically need reds, or I mean, I suppose to some extent greens here, but Telluria's, not Telluria, Vila, sorry, is nearly full of mana, so I'm quite safely going to lose this one. And you see, you sort of understand why was the over heavy dependence on reds, especially with a couple of blues, and Vila being particularly strong blue. Boom! There we are. I'm just going to flee there just very quickly to speed that one along. Try this team again and just sort of experience, because basically what I'm finding, if I don't go for that many reds, I really struggle to beat Telluria, and then it's obviously the sort of comeback from there. I become very reliant on special skills, which means I need good moves. Try this. It's a bit of an odd move to try, but then if I blow this will trigger a nice little combo. Should hopefully finish off Telluria. Not quite, but sets me up so that she will go on this move. Looking a bit more promising, this one. Basically, Vila, hopefully, if I can get... Vila's the next most dangerous one, as I sort of found out last. She is a dangerous hero, Vila. So now she can have as much mana as she wants, because I want her to go off, and I want her to finish herself off with Elena's perfect riposte. It makes it much easier for me. So that's how to deal. This is actually gone very well, better than I would expected. It's I don't think Telluria has actually gone off yet, which is, to be fair, in my experience, the best way to deal with her is to kill her before she gets a move. There, boom. So the next video, is this the next raid? Not next video. Next raid. I'm going to look at her again, but this time I will try and make sure her special skill goes off. Which may mean deliberately not doing the moves I want, which is going to be a bit counterintuitive, but there we go. Here she is. Let's just hope the screen is awful. Dead Men Rising. Ah, there we are. The screen's very awful. Anyway, look, perfect. So let's say that I do the boom, boom. Oh, look at that. All that mana, lovely mana pouring into Telluria there. No reds. I mean, a couple of reds here, but then if I do this move, which will hit her with a couple of reds, oh, her special skill goes off. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie me. So her special skill goes off. Boom. Right. Firstly, there's the minions. Then there's all the damage to my ghost. The damage isn't horrendous. The worst thing actually is the combination of the minions, the healing, and the buff, the mana slowdown for my guys. You could almost do the damage that it does. It does very little damage really, but it does. It's all the other three effects combined that make her into such a horrific tank to face. So you see, these moves won't. That was 3 red tiles. Didn't finish her off. Not even that close, and she'll almost certainly have undone the damage in just a turn or two. Now I'm going to hit her with. Oh, Mother North has actually managed to go off, which is unusual. Going to hit her with 2 red tiles now because only 2 of these will actually hit her. And it's not even that, not enough to finish her off. And you can see how much damage the red tiles were doing. Once that special skill's gone off, she is really, really hard to kill. And of course, whilst I'm trying to kill her, all the rest of their team are gaining mana and minions. So now I'm getting hit almost constantly. You can see there. Really tough. Now, to me, this is just OP. OP is a term my son has taught me, which apparently means overpowered. It's just so hard to come back from her going off because look, she's I've been playing the board, sort of trying to get a few reds to hit her with. She's gone off again. Now my heroes are getting very low on health. You got minions going off. I can see. I can't remember her name. Ursula, is it Ursula? Ursina. She's going to go off. June goes off, so that's 1 dead. She'll finish off the whole team, more or less. Boom. Yep, there we are. And bam, and it is over. And, let's watch the tile damage for these last 3 tiles. If Bold Tusk hangs on for one more time. Yeah, he's going to hold on. 281, 283, barely made a dent on her. So that is why I think she is over the top. If you don't kill her straight off, it's really, 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 really difficult to come back from that. And I do think they've created a hero that is too powerful, especially for free players and players who don't have heroes of the month. I've managed to play this game for 3 years and not get a hero of the month. So yeah, to me, that is just one step too powerful in the hero line. And it does spoil it a bit for me, but there we go. That's my personal opinion. But that was a method, at least for those of you who can muster 4 sort of decent red heroes to deal with Telluria. I'd love to say I had any advice beyond that, but really, once she goes off, it's too late. I mean, you could go for mono and just go for all reds. You could probably go for all of another color as well. Like if you went completely mono, you might get away with green, or you probably not blue being weak against green, but you might get away with it with sort of yellow, purple, or green, just not blue. It's you'd have to either way. Like I say, I think you'd need a really, really good screen. And I don't. It's one of the things I've always liked about this game is that you're not completely reliant on the screens. There's a lot of skill involved as well. And I think to me, she takes away some of that skill, which is a shame. Anyway, there we go. So this is Farmer Ben saying thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry the tone of this video probably wasn't quite as positive as my normal ones, but there we go. Unfortunately, I feel it needed to be said. Thank you very much. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully, this new Tavern of Legends malarkey will be out soon, and I'll be able to play a little bit of that. We'll see what happens. So, thank you very much for watching. May death come swiftly to your enemies. This is Farmer Ben saying goodbye. Goodbye.